Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. It started with a laugh that died too quickly. The four of us sat around the fire pit in our backyard, glasses of wine in hand, the night humming softly with crickets. The air smelled like burnt oak and cheap Cabernet. My husband, Ethan, was telling a story about his new project at work, while my longtime friend Ryan cracked jokes between sips of beer. I felt light for the first time in weeks, until I made the joke that ruined everything. "Careful, Ryan," I said, smiling. "If you keep talking like that, I might have to steal you away." It was meant to be harmless. Ryan laughed, shaking his head. But when I looked over at Ethan, his expression wasn't one of amusement. His jaw tightened, his eyes, usually calm and unreadable, flashed something sharp. The rest of the evening turned sour without words. The warmth drained from his face, replaced by something colder, controlled. When Ryan and his girlfriend left, Ethan gathered the wine glasses silently, setting them in the sink with just a little too much force. "You think that was funny?" he asked finally, his voice low. Turned startled. "What?" "It was a joke." He didn't respond right away. His fingers gripped the edge of the counter, knuckles pale. "You flirted with him, Ava. In front of me." I laughed nervously, trying to lighten the air again. "It wasn't flirting. You're overreacting." His eyes met mine, steady and dark. "Am I?" That night we went to bed without touching. The silence between us pressed like a weight on my chest. I stared at the ceiling, trying to convince myself he'd cool off by morning. But something had cracked open that night, something I couldn't see but could feel spreading. Over the next week, Ethan changed. Subtle at first. He started checking his phone more often, keeping it face down. He came home late, sometimes smelling faintly of perfume I didn't recognize. When I asked, he said it was a coworker's birthday dinner, a networking event, a client meeting. Each excuse sounded rehearsed, perfectly timed. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him. After all, I had made the mistake that started this. Maybe he was just hurt. Maybe he needed space. But then came the night he didn't come home at all. The clock blinked past 2 a.m. when I finally called. He answered on the third ring, voice groggy. "Ava. What's wrong?" "You tell me," I said quietly. "Where are you?" "I told you I had a late meeting. I'm at the office." I heard movement in the background, a woman's muffled laugh, soft and close. My stomach twisted. "At the office," I repeated. The line went silent for a few seconds. "Ava, don't start. I'll explain tomorrow." He hung up before I could respond. I sat there in the dark, my hand shaking, the phone slipping from my grip. My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear myself think. The realization didn't hit like lightning. It came like a slow wave of nausea. I had joked about stealing another man, and now my husband might actually belong to someone else. The next morning, Ethan acted normal. Too normal. He kissed my forehead, poured himself coffee, asked if I wanted anything from the store later. His calmness was unnerving, like a performance. "Where were you last night?" Yes. He didn't flinch. "I told you. At work." "Working with who?" He looked up then, and there was something almost pitying in his gaze. "You don't trust me anymore, do you?" I wanted to scream no, but instead I whispered, "I don't know." He sighed and walked away. That sigh said everything. It was exhaustion, guilt, and something else. Distance. Over the next few days, I began to notice inconsistencies. His shirt collars smelling faintly of vanilla lotion. His phone lighting up late at night, face still down. The tension between us grew unbearable. I stopped sleeping. Every little sound from his phone felt like a nail in the coffin of my marriage. Then one evening I broke. I waited until he showered, then picked up his phone from the nightstand. My hands trembled as I unlocked it using his birthday. The screen opened instantly. There it was, messages from someone named Clara. "Miss you already. Last night felt different. Are you okay?" And the one that made my breath stop entirely. "I hate hiding us." I stared at those words until they blurred. When he stepped out of the bathroom, towel around his waist. I was still sitting there with the phone in my hand. He froze. "Ava," he said slowly, "put that down." My voice came out shaking. "Who is she?" He didn't answer right away. He didn't need to. His silence was confession enough. "It didn't mean to happen," he finally whispered. "After that night, after your joke, I felt humiliated. I thought maybe you didn't want me anymore." Tears stung my eyes. "So you punished me." "It wasn't like that," he said quickly. "I was angry. She was just there. It started as nothing, I swear." I laughed bitterly. "Nothing doesn't send I hate hiding us texts." He looked at me, panic flickering behind his calm facade. "Ava, please. It's over. I ended it last week. Love you. I just didn't know how to tell you." I stared at him, my chest tight, the room spinning. I wanted to scream, to throw something, but instead I felt empty. "Hello." He reached for me, but I stepped back. "Don't." He froze. "You said my joke hurt you," I said quietly. "But you didn't just get jealous, Ethan. You got even." He tried to speak, but I shook my head. "You could have talked to me. Instead, you destroyed us to prove a point." We stood there for what felt like hours, the air between us thick with regret and something beyond repair. That night I packed a small suitcase. He didn't stop me. He just sat on the edge of the bed, head in his hands, whispering apologies that felt too late. As I drove away, the city lights blurred through my tears. I kept thinking about that night around the fire, the laughter, the warmth, the small joke that spiraled into betrayal. In the end, it wasn't the joke that ended us. It was what it revealed. How fragile our trust had become, how quickly love could twist into resentment. I realized too late that sometimes the line between hurt and revenge isn't a line at all. It's a circle, one that drags both people down until neither remembers who started it. And as the first light of dawn broke over the highway, I finally understood what silence really meant. It wasn't forgiveness. It was the sound of something ending.